The global issue I chose was COVID and the COVID quarantine. I chose to work on it because it seemed like a global issue that was affecting everyone and that I could actually relate with. Okay, the proposal I chose was based on two things. The first one was changing the societal norms that the COVID pandemic has put on us. Because in my docs page of the key assessment, I found out that most of the issues we're facing with COVID is stem from the actual societal impact of it. So if you can just change the how society behaves again, you can offset or even remove many of the actual issues that we're having. For instance, you can make sure that people know when it's safe to go out, and for them specifically, and give them the proper tools to know if they can go out or not. Now, this is something that I discussed with my in my interviews that I did for the key activity 2. I discussed with my dad. He told me um, he thought that government regulation for something like this was something completely unnecessary and something really bad. I somewhat disagree. I think extreme government regulation that doesn't do anything is very bad, because you're not only preventing people from going outside, but you're also doing it, grouping everyone together. You're putting the healthy young people who could go outside because there's no one outside, and you're making them stay inside because of people in vulnerable groups. And the way I chose to deal with this was to basically make a government regulated system in which you have an app and you write down all your information. You put in a request to go outside or go wherever you're going, and then you get feedback from a doctor or maybe someone working in the government who's looking through all the data, and then based on how healthy you are, the number of people who want to go out that day, and stuff like that, you can either be given a QR code that lets you go outside and lets you do whatever you need to do or whatever you want to do, or you're just not allowed to go outside based on your reason. Based on so the system I have in mind would take into consideration the reason you want to go out. It would take into consideration your age, obviously, people close to you, but I'm not sure that's practical. And it would take everything from everyone into consideration, and then maybe let you go outside, or maybe not. But I think this is a much better system to what we have now, because right now what some countries are trying to do, such as some politicians want to do, such as like Joe Biden, they just want everything to close down again, everything to just stop all of a sudden. And I don't think that's the way to go, because that way you're affecting many businesses and many people's income. So I really think that the best thing to do would be to put in a government regulated system and make sure some amount of people can still go out and be healthy and not have their lives at risk, but making sure that basically just making sure everyone's safe, and have the numbers in mind. Because people often, when we see that the cases are going down, we start going outside more, and that's not necessarily a good thing. And then the cases go back up. So my role in this situation would be absolutely nothing. I'm not part of the government, and I'm not anything. Okay, but the second part of my solution would be to implement innovation to make sure that COVID testing could be more available and more affordable to everyone who needs it. Something I used in my document, which I think is really really cool, is this engineer who created a new way of diagnosing malaria with materials that were very cost effective and didn't need to be plugged in. I think if we could innovate like that, and to get people's hands on easier and cheaper COVID testing, we could avoid many cases, and we could also make sure that poor countries and people who really need it to not have to worry about another new disease in their country, they can have access to it, and they can have easy access to COVID testing and focus on any other thing they need. While I was doing my interviews, I didn't really change my perspective on anything. I mainly had never considered that government regulation could be something bad, and I found out that sometimes it can be really bad for some people in some countries, and that's the only thing that changed in my perspective overall.